What would your life look like if fear had no voice? Not just quieted for a moment, not managed, not tolerated, gone, erased, dead. What if that second-guessing whisper in your mind, the one that says, you're not ready, you're not worthy, you're not enough, wasn't there? Who would you become without that voice slowing you down? What dreams would you chase? What doors would you finally kick open? Because the truth is, fear has never stopped you. You did. It whispered. You obeyed. It wasn't fear that held you back. It was your loyalty to its lies. Fear whispers in the voice of your own mind. It sounds like you. That's what makes it powerful. It's subtle. It's convincing. It wraps itself in logic and reason and timing. It doesn't scream, you can't. It whispers, not yet. And so you wait. And while you wait, it grows. Fear is primal. Instinct. It was built to protect you from danger, not progress. It was never meant to guide your life. It was meant to keep you alive in the wild, not decide whether you speak, create, lead, or love. But somewhere along the way, you handed it the wheel. You let fear become your counselor, your compass, your voice of reason. And now, you wonder why your life feels like it's circling the same block year after year, day after day. Fear isn't evil, but obedience to fear, that's deadly, because when fear leads, life shrinks. You stay silent when you should speak. You say maybe later when the moment is now. You play small, call it smart, and convince yourself survival is success. But stillness isn't safety. Stillness is surrender. The lie you've been sold is this: stillness equals survival. But let me ask you, is that living or just not dying? You weren't born to freeze. You weren't built to retreat. You were made to move, to rise, to fall and rise again. Fear is not your authority. It never earned that title. So when it speaks, don't salute it. Question it, challenge it, strip it of power. Because fear is a liar, a master storyteller. It will spin a tale so vivid, you'll confuse it for truth. But listen carefully, the voice that says you're not good enough, they'll laugh at you, you'll fail. That voice is not wisdom, it's not reality, it's not you, it's fear. And it's lying to keep you quiet, to keep you still, to keep you small. You've lived long enough letting that voice lead. Now it's time to lead yourself. From this moment forward, when fear speaks, you don't listen. You act, even if your hands shake, even if your voice trembles, even if the fear doesn't go away. Because courage doesn't mean silence from fear. It means defiance in the face of it. It means standing up while fear screams, sit down. It means walking forward, even when fear begs you to wait. Let that voice speak. Let it shake. Let it scream, but do not let it decide, because it's lied to you long enough. Now you know better. Now you see it clearly. Fear is not the enemy. Obedience to fear is it. In the voice in your head, it may sound like truth, but it's not. It's just a story you've repeated so many times, you forgot you were the author. Well, guess what? You are. And today you rewrite the script. You think you're choosing safety. You think you're playing it smart. But what you're really doing is trading power for comfort. Every time you stay quiet when your voice is burning to speak, comfort. Every time you delay what you know needs to be done, comfort. Every time you say not now, when you know the moment is begging for yes. That's not strategy. That's not wisdom. That's fear, wearing a mask. And the price, it doesn't show up all at once. It builds, slowly. You don't wake up the next morning in regret. You wake up in a routine. The same life, the same dreams still shelved, the same voice inside you, a little quieter this time, because comfort has a cost. It's just delayed. You want growth. You want impact. You want fire, freedom, expansion. But none of that comes from a life where you never sweat, where you never risk, where you never move when it's uncomfortable. Growth never happens in safety. And deep down, you know that, because you felt it. You felt the moment come, the chance to leap, to speak, to leave, to start, to stand. And what did you do? You paused. You took that half-second breath, and fear slipped in. You told yourself, I'll wait until I'm ready. I just need to think this through. It's not the right time. But what you didn't realize was that hesitation is a decision. That pause, it was the choice. And fear won. Again. The dangerous thing about inaction is it feels harmless. You didn't fail. You just held back. You didn't get rejected. You just played it safe. You didn't fall, but you also didn't rise. And every time you obey that tiny hesitation, you train yourself to freeze. You build a reflex around retreat, and soon you forget what boldness ever felt like. That's the psychology of inaction. It disguises itself as patience, as preparation, as logic, but it's a pattern, a quiet, slow betrayal of your potential. And here's the truth. You're not weak. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You're just responding to a false alarm. Fear triggers the siren, but there's no fire, no threat, just discomfort. But you've been conditioned to treat discomfort as danger. And the moment you stop seeing them as the same, everything shifts. You stop waiting to feel ready. You stop treating confidence like a requirement, because readiness is a myth. Confidence is a byproduct. And action is the cure. You don't wait until you feel brave. You act until bravery catches up. That's how the powerful are made. They don't move because they're fearless. They move because they refuse to sit still. They understand that every yes to comfort is a no to growth. And the life they want, it's never behind the easy door. So stop waiting for clarity. Stop bargaining with fear. Stop telling yourself that one day you'll wake up and finally feel like leaping. You won't. You'll feel scared. You'll feel unqualified. You'll feel the tremble in your gut. And that's when you leap anyway. Because what if the only thing standing between you and your next level was your loyalty to comfort? What if every pause wasn't protection, but prison? What if you've never been stuck just sitting still waiting for permission? Let this be your permission. Let this be the moment you stop treating comfort like it's your friend. It's not. It's the thief that robs your fire, your fight, And here's the hardest truth of all. You already know what you need to do. You've always known. You're just afraid. But fear's voice, it doesn't mean stop. It means go. It means this matters. It means you're on the edge of something real. And real things always come wrapped in resistance. So don't pause. Don't wait to feel ready. You don't need to. You need to act while the doubt is still screaming, while your knees are still shaking, while your chest still burns with what if. Because the only thing stronger than fear is movement. You're not weak. You're just done obeying a lie. And now you trade comfort for power. You want to beat fear? Then stop trying to outthink it. Move. Because fear doesn't respond to logic. It doesn't care how smart you are. It doesn't shrink when you analyze it, journal about it, or talk it to death. Fear only fades when you move. See, fear feeds off stillness, off waiting, off the long pause between idea and action. That's its playground. That's where it grows. But momentum starves it. Because once you start moving, once you take even one step, you change the story. Not the big leap, not the grand, perfect plan. Just the first move. Micro-action. That's how you kill the lie. You don't have to slay the dragon. Just take a swing. Make the call. Write the sentence. Seep the sentence. Show up. One step forward, and then another, and another. Small moves, done consistently, are louder than any fear screaming in your head. That's the shift. You don't wait for motivation to strike, because motivation is a spark, but momentum is the fire. Motivation comes when it wants. Momentum comes when you do. And here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. Confidence doesn't come first. Confidence is earned. It's what shows up after you've acted scared. after you've walked into the storm without knowing what's on the other side. You want to feel brave? Move before you do. You want to be fearless? Act while the fear is still loud. Because every time you move, you prove fear wrong. You tell your mind, I don't need to feel ready to take the first step. And that step rewrites the whole narrative. Fear says, you can't. Momentum replies, watch me. Fear says, wait. Momentum answers, too late. I've already started. That's the edge. That's the secret. You don't have to be amazing at the start. You just have to start. Because something wild happens when you move. Clarity returns. Energy rises. The fog clears. You feel alive again. Not because the fear is gone, but because it no longer controls the pace. That's power, not perfection, not mastery, momentum. One small act of defiance, one decision to do the thing anyway. That's how fear loses oxygen. You want to silence the voice in your head? Drown it out with action. Fear hates movement. It hates momentum, because momentum makes you forget you were ever afraid. So stop waiting for courage, create it. Stop searching for certainty, build it through motion. The first step might feel small. It might even feel foolish, but it's a crack in the wall, and cracks let the light in. Move before you're ready. Move while the fear is still speaking. Move even if you don't know how it ends. Because once you move, the fear loses its grip, the voice fades, the doubts shrink. And what's left? You, unstoppable, in motion, becoming what fear hoped you'd never be. Remember this, you don't feel brave, then move. You move and then you feel brave. Fear hates momentum, so pick up speed and don't look back. Fear doesn't need facts. It doesn't deal in reality. It deals in imagination. It grabs one moment of uncertainty and turns it into a full-length movie of disaster. You hesitate to speak, and suddenly you see the embarrassment, the judgment, the rejection. You think about starting, and fear shows you the failure, the ridicule, the loss. It doesn't just whisper, be careful. It projects disaster. It screens worst-case scenarios on the inside of your eyelids. And because it's playing inside your own head, you believe it. But here's the truth. Fear isn't a prophet. It's a filmmaker. And the genre, always horror. It hijacks your imagination and uses it against you. But if fear can do that, so can you. If you can rehearse failure, you can rehearse success. If you can see the crash, you can see the landing. The same brain that builds breakdowns can build breakthroughs. You just have to change the script. Stop letting fear direct your imagination. Start casting yourself in the role you were meant to play. See yourself speaking and being heard. See yourself launching and it working. See yourself falling and rising stronger. Rehearse domination, not disaster. Rehearse winning. Rehearse courage. Rehearse standing tall in rooms you used to shrink in. Fear isn't truth. It's just repetition. So build your own loop. Visualize it every day, not what could go wrong, but what will go right. Because your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's rehearsed. If fear is imagination, then so is confidence. If you can imagine defeat, you can imagine triumph. So start running that reel. The war doesn't start outside you. It starts in you. It starts with a thought. And here's the first truth most people never hear. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who hears them. You are the architect. You choose what stays and what goes. You are the gatekeeper. But fear acts like it owns the place. It walks in, uninvited, and starts rearranging the furniture. It says, you're not enough. You're not ready. You'll mess this up. And you just nod and listen like it's gospel. But from now on, when fear speaks, you answer back. Who says I'm not ready? Who says I'll fail? Who says I don't belong here? Because if a voice in your head can tear you down, another voice in your head can build you up. But you have to train it. Mental reps, daily practice, discipline. Speak truth louder than fear's lies. Say it when you wake up. Say it when you're scared. Say it when you don't believe it yet. I expand. I don't shrink. I move in fear's presence. I don't need permission to be powerful. Say it till you live it. Say it till it rewrites your reflexes. Every thought is a seed, and whatever you water, grows. Water fear, you grow hesitation. Water courage, you grow boldness. You grow discipline. You grow freedom. So flip the script. Guard your thoughts like a vault. Install truth. Interrupt lies, because your mind is the battlefield. And if you don't train it, fear will. You want courage? You don't find it hiding from fear. You find it walking straight into it. Because avoidance doesn't cure fear, it feeds it. The more you dodge it, the louder it gets, the bigger it grows, the tighter it wraps itself around your life. But exposure breaks the spell. Think about it. You're standing at the edge of a freezing pool. You stare at the water. You imagine the shock. You hesitate. You come back tomorrow. Same fear, same chill, same dread. But jump in 5 seconds your body adjusts. Your breath returns, and the fear, gone. Not because you conquered it in your head, because you entered it. That's exposure. And that's the only way through. The first time you speak up, your voice shakes. The second time, still scary. The 10th time, easier. The 100th time, freedom. Fear, discomfort. Routine, freedom. That's the path. You want to kill fear? Then train against it. Every time you lean in, you take away its power. Every time you step forward, you teach your nervous system, this is familiar. This is who I am now. So don't wait until fear disappears. Don't wait to not feel nervous. You show up anyway. You launch even if it's not perfect. You speak even if you're trembling. You act especially when you'd rather run. Because that's the work, that's the practice. Repetition rewires reality. You don't need to destroy fear. You just need to outgrow it. And the only way to do that is to stop running and start walking toward the fire. That's how courage is born, not in comfort, but in exposure. Picture this. You're lying in your final bed. No noise, no calendar, just silence and ghosts. Not the kind that haunt halls, the kind that wear your face. One looks like the version of you that spoke up. Another looks like the one who started the dream. Another, they moved cities, took risks, broke generational curses. They all stand around your bed, and they stare, not in anger, in disappointment, because they never lived, because you never let them. That's the cost. Obedience to fear doesn't just steal your confidence, it robs your future, your legacy. See, fear tells you to play small, stay quiet, blend in. But legacy demands you go louder, go bolder, go first. And the truth, you don't get both. You don't get comfort and impact. You don't get ease and expansion. There is no statue for the silent, no monument for the one who almost did it, no celebration for the one who stayed safe. History remembers the ones who moved in the face of fear. Harriet didn't wait to feel brave. Malala didn't wait to be understood. Rosa didn't sit down because she was comfortable. She stood in her soul and sat for a cause. They didn't live perfect lives. They lived loud ones, ones that rippled past their time. What ripples are you making? Because your life is not just about you. It's about everyone who comes after you. Everyone who needs to see someone like you go first. So what will they say about you? That you lived rehearsing the worst-case scenario? That you shrank when it was your turn to shine? That you buried your roar under politeness, fear, and logic? Or will they say you broke the cycle? That you did it afraid? That you chose legacy over lies? Because you are writing it now. Every yes, every no, every time you choose courage instead of delay, you're carving your name into something bigger than you. Fear robs your future, so stop giving it the pen. Your story is being written. Write something worth remembering. You want to feel fearless? Stop waiting for the feeling and start building the rhythm, because fearless isn't something you feel, it's something you schedule. It's not magic, it's a ritual. And the ones who move mountains, they don't wait for bravery to strike like lightning. They build it daily. Here's the framework. Simple, not easy, but powerful. 1. Uncomfortable action. Do one thing daily that makes your chest tighten. Speak when you'd usually stay quiet. Ask when you'd usually assume. Move when you'd normally freeze. Discomfort isn't a sign to stop. It's the signal that you're alive. 2. Physical movement. Move your body. Shift your state. Because fear lives in stillness, but it can't survive momentum. Train. Walk. Stretch. Sweat. Build a nervous system that knows how to handle pressure. When your body is trained, your courage follows. 3. Spoken affirmations. Not whispered. Spoken. Out loud. With fire. I act before I'm ready. I'm becoming who I was built to be. I'm not asking fear for permission. Say it till your nervous system believes it. Say it till your reflexes obey it. 4. Early victories. Start the day with a win. Make the bed with intention. Finish the cold shower. Send the message. Post the idea. Stack small wins. Build a mind that sees itself as capable. Because the version of you you're chasing, it's built in layers, and every rep matters. Fear doesn't need to be destroyed. It just needs to be out-trained. And the training starts every morning, not once a year, not when motivation hits, daily. Courage isn't spontaneous. It's structured. It lives in routines, in repetition, in discipline. So stop praying for confidence. Build rituals that produce it. That's how the fearless are made. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the flame. Motivation asks how you feel. Discipline doesn't care. It shows up anyway. You can't build a life on emotion. You build it on decision. Because discipline isn't about hype. It's about identity. I don't act because I feel like it. I act because it's who I am. No debate, no vote, no internal polling. Fear thrives in negotiation. It loves the back and forth. It wins when you pause and ask, do I really want to do this today? But discipline shuts the door. It says, this is what we do. This is the standard. This is who I am now. The bold don't wait for the mood. They move off a code. They've built frameworks, non-negotiables. You think courage is loud? Discipline is quieter, but more dangerous. Because when you become someone who moves without needing permission, fear runs out of plays. You build habits that reinforce power. Wake early. Train the body. Speak the truth. Do hard things on purpose. You don't need a crowd. You need a contract with yourself. And the disciplined, they become inevitable. Because while others stall, they build. While others fear, they act. While others dream, they do. Discipline is the final weapon. The edge that makes you unstoppable. The reason you'll keep rising when others fall. The ones who win aren't always the loudest. They're the ones who keep showing up. You've been taught to run from fear. But what if it's not the enemy? What if it's the map? Because fear, it doesn't always mean danger. Sometimes it means direction. Fear shows you where it matters, where you're called to grow, where the gold is buried. You feel it in your chest before the big ask. You feel it in your gut before you launch. That's not weakness. That's the signal. The fire inside you. It's not trying to burn you. It's trying to lead you. But most people let that fire turn into a cage. They say, I feel afraid, so I'll wait. I feel afraid, so I must not be ready. But what if the fear is just the invitation, not to stop, to step forward? What if fearless isn't the absence of fear, but the refusal to obey it? That's the shift. You stop asking, will the fear go away? And you start declaring, I'll go with it anyway. You walk into the room, you launch the idea, you show up trembling, but you show up. Because now you know, fear is the door, action is the key, and freedom is what waits. This is it. No more rehearsing. No more waiting for the nerves to calm. You're not here to tiptoe through life and call that peace. You're here to burn bright, to leave a mark, to set fire to the limits you were told to obey. You felt fear. Now feel freedom. And the only way through is forward. I do not negotiate with fear. I do not ask it for directions. I do not wait for it to leave before I move. I do not shrink when it rises. I rise higher. Fear speaks, but I speak louder. Fear knocks, but I open other doors. Fear warns. I welcome the risk. Because I was not made to be safe. I was made to be free. I am not waiting to feel ready. Readiness is a lie comfort tells you. I act while shaking. I move while trembling. I show up with doubt in my chest and fire in my bones. My identity is not emotion. My identity is decision. I don't move because I feel bold. I move because I've decided. Bold is who I am now. I have trained my mind, and now the world bends. I have trained my reflexes, and now hesitation dies before it speaks. I have trained my voice, and now silence has lost its grip on my throat. I rehearse courage. I speak life. I plant truth and water it with action. Every day, in small ways, I expand. I will not die full of ideas. I will not die full of potential. I will not die with my greatness still zipped inside me. I will die empty, used, spent, poured out, free. The ghosts of who I could have been, they will not visit my deathbed. They will be standing with me because I became them all. I do not live for applause. I do not wait for consensus. I do not require understanding. I do not ask fear if today is a good day to be powerful. I claim the day. I own the space. I walk into rooms I used to avoid. I say the words I used to swallow. This is not hype. This is discipline. This is not delusion. This is repetition. This is not about being fearless. This is about choosing forward over frozen. Every time. I am not behind. I am not broken. I am not weak. I am not late. I am becoming. And I become by doing. I build momentum. I build evidence. I build identity brick by brick, on the days I feel like it, and especially on the days I don't. I don't let fear write the story. I've taken the pen back. And this chapter has teeth. I will not spend my life as a rehearsal. I will not wait for more signs. I will not bury my brilliance beneath doubt. Fear is the door. Action is the key. Freedom is what waits. I step, I speak, I rise, I lead. I am not casual about my life. I do not treat my calling like a hobby. I do not hand the mic to fear. I do not pause destiny to please insecurity. I am the one. I am the storm. I am the change. I am the proof. I walk with fire in my lungs and purpose in my spine. Every day, I return to this vow, this code, this manifesto. I train my mind, and the world follows. I take uncomfortable action. I chase what scares me. I speak what's true. I keep my word. I finish what I start. I don't run. I rise. This is who I am, not one day. Now, etch it into your daily rhythm. Let it be louder than fear ever was. This is your line in the sand. From this moment on, you don't belong to fear. You belong to the fire.